The quiet suburban streets of Costa Mesa, California, held a dark secret. A secret that would unravel a tale of deceit, manipulation, and a gruesome act almost beyond comprehension. It began, as many such stories do, with a whirlwind romance, a spark of attraction between two vastly different souls. But beneath the veneer of newfound love lay a simmering darkness, a past riddled with trauma and a future destined for horror. This is the chilling account of Omaima and Bill Nelson, a story that would grip a nation and forever redefine the depths of human depravity. Bill Nelson was a man who craved attention, a larger-than-life character in a world of subtle shades. He wore his personality like his bright, red Corvette, a bold statement on wheels, Texas-born, a seasoned pilot with a past as colorful as his wardrobe. Bill had seen things, done things, even spent time behind bars for a smuggling charge. Rumors whispered of CIA connections, adding another layer to his enigmatic persona. In October 1991, at 56, he sought a quieter life in Costa Mesa, often found at a local dive bar, nursing a cheap beer and hustling at pool. Then she walked in Omaima, just 23, a petite Egyptian beauty. Her exotic looks and dark, curly hair commanded attention. She moved with a quiet confidence around the pool table, her skill surprising many. Despite the 33-year age gap, Bill was instantly smitten. That night, amidst the clinking of glasses and the crack of billiard balls, their whirlwind romance began. It seemed a perfect, if unusual, match. A larger-than-life cowboy and a mysterious, alluring Egyptian beauty. Omaima's journey to that bar in Costa Mesa was far from conventional. Her early life in a poor Egyptian farming village near the Sudanese border was a tapestry woven with hardship and unspeakable abuse. Her father, a brutal figure, inflicted physical and sexual torment that would forever scar her. When her parents divorced, a new chapter of despair began. She and her mother moved to Cairo, settling in a place ominously known as the City of the Dead, a sprawling slum where thousands lived among the ancient graves and mausoleums. Life there was a constant reminder of mortality, a struggle for survival in the shadow of the departed. At 17, a glimmer of escape appeared in the form of an American oil worker in Cairo. Rejected by Muslim men due to her past, Omaima saw him as her only ticket out of the squalor. They married, and when his job ended, she found herself in Texas, a new world that quickly proved just as unforgiving. The marriage crumbled, leaving 18-year-old Omaima adrift, with no skills and a shaky grasp of English. California beckoned, a land of promise where her striking looks occasionally landed her modeling gigs. But the work was inconsistent. Omema soon discovered an easier path frequenting bars, seeking men to provide for her. When that failed, a darker instinct emerged. She resorted to theft, often luring men into compromising situations, tying them up, and pilfering their money or cars. It was a pattern of survival, born from desperation and a growing disdain for conventional routes. When Omaima met Bill Nelson, her eyes saw beyond the red Corvette and cowboy boots. She saw a meal ticket. Bill ran a computer refurbishing business from his home. While his living situation was modest, his demeanor exuded an air of financial comfort. Within weeks, their connection deepened, resembling that of eager teenagers. Bill proposed a cross-country drive to Texas and Arkansas to meet his family, a grand gesture of commitment. Their journey began on Interstate 10, heading east. But they only made it as far as Phoenix before Bill, swept up in the intoxicating rush of their romance, asked Omema to marry him. after less than a month of knowing each other. They exchanged vows in downtown Phoenix, a quick ceremony sealing their fate. Bill's family in Texas was stunned by his sudden marriage. Omaima, significantly younger than some of his own children, seemed an unlikely fit for his personality. Yet, they saw a genuine happiness between the two. Their time in Texas passed pleasantly, and they continued their drive back to Costa Mesa, seemingly building a future together. The late afternoon of Thanksgiving Day, 1991, Bill Nelson called his stepdaughter. A casual chat about dinner and weekend plans. It was an ordinary conversation, a mundane farewell that would become chillingly significant. That was the last time anyone ever spoke to Bill Nelson. Sunday, December 1, 1991, Jose Esquivel, a man who had briefly dated Omaima a year prior, was enjoying a leisurely morning when a frantic pounding disrupted his peace. From his bedroom window, he saw a bright red Corvette, an unfamiliar sight in his driveway. Assuming a wrong address, he ignored it. 4 hours later, the insistent knocking resumed. Jose opened the door to a disheveled Omaima Nelson. She was covered in bruises, small cuts, and what looked like dried blood. Her words, delivered with a desperate urgency, shook him to his core. She claimed her husband, married just weeks earlier, had raped and beaten her. But her next statement plunged him into a nightmare. She had killed him, she confessed, dismembered his body, and needed help disposing of the trash bags containing his remains. Jose, stunned and speechless, found himself facing a woman he barely knew, asking for assistance with a gruesome crime. Omema continued, recounting a horrific Thanksgiving evening. She claimed Bill had tied her up and raped her. After breaking free, she struck him over the head with a lamp from the nightstand, then stabbed him with scissors. He was dead, and she panicked. The next 2 days, she said, were spent dismembering his body, stuffing the pieces into black plastic trash bags. She then offered Jose a chilling incentive. Bill had a $75,000 cash in his safe, along with 2 motorcycles. If you help me get rid of the body, you can have the money and his 2 motorcycles. Jose remained calm, playing along with her macabre request. He told Omema to wait at his house while he went to get his truck, promising to return in 30 minutes. Instead, he drove to the nearest payphone and recounted Omema's horrifying confession to the police. When police arrived, Omaima was still distraught, tears streaming down her face. Her visible injuries, cuts, and bruises on her face and arms seemed to corroborate her story of sexual assault. She vehemently denied telling Jose she had killed her husband or offered him money. Bill, she insisted, was simply away on a business trip to Florida, alive and well. The officers, however, found her story suspicious. They inspected the red Corvette parked in the driveway. Through the passenger window, a black plastic bag on the front seat caught their eye. Upon opening the door, they recoiled in shock. The bag was filled with blood, smeared newspapers, and what appeared to be human organs. At the police station, Omaima continued her denial, pacing the interview room for nearly 4 hours under the detectives' relentless questioning. When confronted about the organs in the car, she blamed Bill, spinning a convoluted tale of his past criminal record, suggesting he might have killed someone himself. She rambled about his alleged rapes of her and other women, veering into hallucinations and speaking in the third person, a desperate attempt to appear mentally unstable. Following the interview, Omaima was taken to the hospital for a sexual assault examination. the doctor's findings contradicted her claims. The cuts and bruises on her body were not defensive wounds. Furthermore, the rape test revealed no evidence of vaginal or anal trauma. Investigators then obtained a warrant to search the apartment Omaima shared with Bill Nelson. The scene was chaotic, a labyrinth of boxes, computer parts, and miscellaneous junk. At first glance, it seemed merely the home of slovenly housekeepers. But a closer inspection by the forensic team revealed a scene of unspeakable horror. It started with a single drop of blood on a doorknob. Then, a small pool of blood seeped into the carpet. The true nightmare began in the kitchen. What initially appeared to be parts of a Thanksgiving turkey in a deep fryer were in fact human hands cooked in oil. The garbage can held parts of a human hip, grotesquely mixed with turkey and cranberry sauce. Wrapped in foil, tucked behind frozen vegetables in the freezer, was Bill Nelson's severed head, also cooked to a crisp. Pulling back the sheets from the bed, investigators found the mattress saturated with so much blood it had bled through to the box springs. When the recovered remains of Bill Nelson were weighed, more than 100 pounds were missing compared to his driver's license weight. The downstairs neighbour in the apartment building provided a crucial detail. The garbage disposal had been running for hours, all weekend long. Omaima had systematically carved him up, piece by horrifying piece, and flushed him down the kitchen drain. Scattered throughout the apartment were more black plastic trash bags, each containing additional body parts. Among these gruesome packages, investigators found a broken bedside lamp and a clothes iron, both stained with blood. In the bedroom, there seemed to be evidence supporting Omeima's sexual assault claim: rope on the floor, broken bedposts. However, when investigators examined Bill Nelson's ankles, the ligature marks told a different story. He was the one who had been tied up, not Omaima. Brought back into the interrogation room, Omaima finally confessed to killing her husband. Yet, her confession was laced with an unsettling detachment. "I don't remember how I killed him. All I remember, I get up, like I said, and find him, and he's in a trash bag. I wish I knew how I killed him, though." She spoke of internal voices, of demons, compelling her. "Something inside me told me that I had to do it. Like demons." She continued to ramble about drug and alcohol use, offering cryptic answers in a transparent attempt to feign mental illness. She claimed hallucinations, mysterious spirits who had contacted her and instructed her. 2 women. There was blood all over them, and they walk in and said, "He must die. He must die." The medical examiner's report revealed the brutal truth. Bill Nelson died from over 25 blows to the head, likely inflicted with the bedside lamp and the clothes iron. She then stabbed him repeatedly with a pair of scissors. The coroner's office noted the unsettling precision of the dismemberment, raising questions about whether Omaima had prior experience. Police delved into Omeima's past, uncovering a disturbing pattern of offences. She had a long list of arrests, repeatedly luring men from bars with promises of kinky sex, tying them up and stealing their money. She had also stolen a car. Petty theft and shoplifting arrests filled her record. In one particularly violent incident, when confronted by department store security guards for shoplifting, she bit a female guard's breast, nearly severing it, and grabbed a male guard in the crotch, bringing him to his knees. She fled but was eventually apprehended, spending 2 months in jail for shoplifting and battery. As news of the murder and Omema's predatory methods spread, another victim emerged. Robert Hansen contacted detectives, revealing he had briefly lived with Omaima a year before she met Bill Nelson. Their relationship, he stated, was purely sexual. When she demanded money, he jokingly asked what she would do for him. Her chilling reply, "I want to tie you up." Hansen, intrigued by what he perceived as a kinky fantasy, agreed. Once bound to his bedposts, Omaima pulled out a handgun and demanded money. Hansen, however, managed to break free, disarm her, and kick her out of his house. He had been too embarrassed to report the incident at the time. The trial of 24-year-old Omaima Nelson commenced on December 2, 1992. Her attorney presented a defense rooted in a history of abuse, painting Bill Nelson as a tormentor who had beaten and abused her throughout their short marriage. She attributed her actions to deep emotional scars stemming from a childhood filled with violence, claiming that every member of her family had subjected her to abuse, torture, or molestation. During the trial, a horrific detail from Omaima's past was revealed at age 7. She had been subjected to female genital mutilation, a dangerous ritual performed without anesthesia or sterile instruments, common in many countries. This barbaric practice, intended to control a woman's sexuality, left her with scar tissue and heightened sensitivity, rendering sexual enjoyment impossible. Omaima claimed Bill demanded sex daily and constantly complained about her performance as a result of his alleged sexual assaults. She confessed to castrating him and disposing of his genitals using the garbage disposal. The defense argued that her history of abuse had created a deeply disturbed woman who, when sexually assaulted by Bill, snapped and butchered him. A forensic psychologist, testifying for the defense, presented Omaima as profoundly troubled, believing herself to be descended from ancient Egyptians. These ancestral spirits, she claimed, spoke and acted through her when she killed Bill Nelson. The forensic psychologist also shared a chilling detail. Omaima had told her she cooked Bill Nelson's ribs in the oven, slathered them with barbecue sauce, and consumed them. They tasted sweet, just like I like it, she allegedly said. Omaima later denied this act of cannibalism to explain the dismemberment. Her defense invoked ancient Egyptian beliefs. Scattering a body prevented its ascension to the afterlife. Omaima, they argued, wanted to ensure Bill would not join her in the great beyond. The prosecution systematically dismantled the defense's claims. An examination of Omaima's body showed no evidence of rape. The ligature marks on Bill's body conclusively proved he was the one restrained, not her. Prosecutors dismissed the ancient Egyptian narrative as mere theatrics, a fabricated story designed to support an insanity plea. On the witness stand, Omaima testified that Bill had threatened to kill her during their drive to Texas, claiming he would bury her in the desert if she didn't comply. However, photos and video footage from their cross-country trip painted a different picture, showing both of them happy and carefree. On January 12, 1993, Omaima Nelson was found guilty of murdering her husband of less than a month, without proof of premeditation. The jury could not reach a unanimous decision for first-degree murder. She was instead convicted of the lesser charge of second-degree murder. She was also convicted of the attempted robbery of Robert Hansen and sentenced to 27 years to life in prison. During her incarceration, Omaima found an unusual companion. She met and married a man in his 70s who would visit her in prison. Traveling in his wheelchair for 3 everyday conjugal visits. They stayed together in accommodations equipped with kitchen knives, and he reportedly had no fear of her. He remained by her side until his death, leaving her his estate. In 2006, Omema was denied parole. The commissioners found her unpredictable and a serious threat to public safety. She was denied parole a second time in 2011, when the parole board determined she had not taken responsibility for the murder and would not be a productive citizen if she were freed. The story of Omaima Nelson is a stark reminder of the complexities inherent in human behavior and the devastating consequences of unresolved trauma. Here are some lessons learned from this story. This case highlights how adept some individuals can be at concealing their true nature. Bill Nelson, with his flamboyant personality, and Omaima, with her captivating beauty, both presented facades that hid deeper issues. It underscores the importance of truly knowing someone before committing to a deep relationship. The cycle of abuse. Omaima's defense centered on her horrific childhood abuse. While it does not excuse her actions, it serves as a powerful reminder of how trauma can warp an individual's psyche and contribute to destructive patterns, creating a cycle of violence. Addressing trauma, both individually and societally, is crucial. Trust your gut instincts. Jose Esquivel's quick thinking and decision to contact the police saved him from becoming an accessory to a heinous crime. When something feels fundamentally wrong or dangerous, it often is. Trusting your instincts can be a vital act of self-preservation. The importance of reporting. Robert Hansen's initial embarrassment prevented him from reporting Omaima's attempted robbery. Had he reported it, a pattern might have been identified earlier, potentially preventing future harm. Reporting crimes, even seemingly minor ones, can be crucial in preventing larger tragedies. The reality of mental health and crime. The defense's portrayal of Omaima's mental state raises questions about the intersection of mental health and criminal behavior. While not all mental health issues lead to violence, understanding and addressing them is vital for both individual well-being and public safety. Now here is some advice. Prioritize safety. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel threatened or unsafe, physically or emotionally, your primary concern should be your safety. Remove yourself from the situation if possible, and do not hesitate to seek help from authorities or trusted individuals. Be aware of red flags in any relationship. Be attuned to red flags such as extreme mood swings, controlling behavior, a history of violence, or a lack of empathy. These can be indicators of deeper issues. Seek help for trauma. If you or someone you know has experienced trauma, seeking professional help is paramount. Therapy and support systems can provide the tools needed to process past experiences and prevent them from defining future actions. Support victims. Be a supportive ally to those who have experienced abuse or violence. Create a safe space for them to share their stories and guide them toward resources that can help. Stay informed. Understanding the patterns and warning signs associated with dangerous individuals can help you protect yourself and those you care about. Knowledge is a powerful defense. This case, while disturbing, offers a somber reflection on the shadows that can exist within society and within individuals. It compels us to look beyond the surface, to recognize the signs, and to always prioritize safety and well-being. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of the most unsettling true crime stories. If this narrative resonated with you, please leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of the darker side of humanity. Until next time, stay safe and remain vigilant.